Hello, this video is about Kendra Ward, federal number 538-03177. First, you will hear from her mother-in-law, Angela, and then you will hear from Kendra. Kendra received a 220-month sentence. Kendra is again another individual that was struggling with drug addiction. A single mother got involved with the wrong individual, the wrong relationship, and this resulted in her making some poor decisions. Kendra is not saying that she's innocent, but 220 months is very excessive. I just want to thank everybody for getting involved. Please continue to share the videos, to subscribe to the channel, to sign the petitions. Together we can make a real difference. Thank you all, and God bless. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
So this is an interview in reference to Kendra Ward, federal number 53803-177. She received a 220-month sentence from Judge McBride. What is your name?
My name is Angela Perez, Perez.
And what is your relationship to Kendra?
I am her mother-in-law.
And how long have you known Kendra?
I've known her for about 12 years.
Okay. Could you give us a little background information about Kendra? What was she like when you first met her?
Kendra was a good person. She was working. She was pregnant working. She did a lot for her parents. Just a great person.
So, where do you feel like Kendra's struggles were at? What led her down this road that led to this indictment?
Well, she got back together with an ex-boyfriend who used to be her former dealer.
So, prior to that, was Kendra struggling with a drug addiction?
No, she used to be. She used to have a drug addiction, and she was doing really well with her children. She was working, providing for her two children, and just doing really well.
So the drug addiction didn't come back up until her ex-boyfriend came back in her life.
Yes.
So when this indictment comes and she gets indicted, do you know what her role in that was?
Yes. What had happened is she got involved with the dealing part.
With the ex, or with the new boyfriend?
No, by that time he was already he had already been picked up again for dealing, and I think he was on parole, so that his parole was revoked. So she picked up where he left off.
Okay, I understand. So when you hear that she's been indicted, what was your thoughts, or what were you thinking?
Well, I felt for the kids. I mean, she was really working hard towards giving her children a better life. She was trying to give them a pretty steady environment, and then it crushed me to know that her children were going to be away from her, because she is all that her children ever known.
And
her father.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that their father was not involved in the children's life at all.
How old are the other children?
When she was indicted, or currently?
Both.
Okay, when she was indicted, her daughter was 3, and her little boy was 5.
And go ahead.
And then currently, her son is 11 and her daughter's 8.
And so you hear that she's been indicted. Was there any discussions about how much time that she was potentially looking at, or what that was looking like?
Well, we were praying that we have heard about this, the judge, and she was already preparing me that it was probably going to be a large sentence, but because of what when she was arrested, she was told by whoever was interviewing that if she would cooperated, that she would get a less sentence, and they would make sure that the judge, whoever was the judge, would know that she cooperated, and that more than likely she would get a less sentence. But when we heard that it was Mr. Judge McBride, she was preparing me that this judge he was not lenient at all. So I was praying that she didn't get a harsh sentence, but it was still in my mind that she may, which is devastating.
During Kendra's interview, she explained that she thought, or she was under the impression that if she cooperated, that she would receive around a 5-year sentence. So she cooperated, and then when she got to McBride's sentencing, were you there for that?
Yes, I was. I was present.
Can you explain what happened there and what that was like?
I felt like he rushed the whole process, and that he really did not want to hear how Kendra had cooperated with the police investigation and her role in the whole process, or what led to her indictment. He eventually just brought out a piece of paper and just started reading. It sounded like a standard sheet that he was reading, that he gave all his, or he was. It sounded something like already pre-wrote, that it was pre-wrote, and it didn't matter what kind of person she was and what she did in order to help the investigation or any of that. It was just standard for what she did, or, what she did. So
Kendra gets sentenced. Were you the only one that was in the courtroom for her?
No, I was there. Her mom and dad was there, and her brother and sister was there. So we were all there.
And what was the reaction from everybody?
Her mother almost passed out, and Kendra was crying. We were all crying. It was very devastating.
That's terrible.
To hear that. It was hard.
So since sentencing, what has that been like as far as communication with her, the children, with you? How has that been?
Well, I know her children are, they took it hard. Not a day goes by that they long for her to be out and be with them. And I know that her daughter really takes it hard, because she was a mama's girl before her mama was sent away, and now she's lost. She's really lost. And her son is going through depression right now. He misses her still. I mean, she's been gone for 6 years now, and he still misses her. So it's hard. It's hard for everyone. Her kids. It's hard for her parents. It's hard for me. It's just hard in general.
The purpose of this video is we are asking the community to get involved. Kendra is one of many that's been sentenced in Judge McBride's court to what we feel like are excessive sentences. The purpose of these laws were for individuals that were had the intention of selling drugs for profit gain, for organized crime, stuff like that. And Kendra, while struggling with a drug addiction, made some poor decisions, and she admitted that, and she admitted that she deserved the consequence. I guess a part of Kendra's story that's, she was convinced from the beginning that, like I said, if she did cooperate, she would receive close to a 5-year sentence. So I feel like not only was she given an excessive sentence, but she was also tricked into cooperating against people and not receiving what she was told that she was going to receive. And I feel like just a double a double injustice in this case. And what we're doing is we're asking the people that are listening to the video to sign a petition asking for some sort of relief, a commutation in her sentence. To all the people that we are asking to, and this video is being listened to by, what would you have to say to them about assisting and helping to bring Kendra home to her children?
I would say to get involved, sign the petition to help her to get out, so she can be reconnected to her children. Right now is a precious time in her children's life, but they need her. They need her guidance. They need her love. And by people getting out and getting involved and signing the petition in order, to help her and her and other women that are in her same situation, will help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Angela, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for telling us all of the information that you did. We will be posting this video, and I'm just grateful that she does have some support and people on the outside that haven't forgotten.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Hello?
You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Kendra Ward,
an inmate at federal prison. This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. Hang up to decline the call or to accept. Dial 5 now. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature.
Hey, Kendra.
Hello? Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. So we're recording this interview here. I just wanted to go over some basic information with you, and then when we're done, if you could hold the line, I just had a couple more things I wanted to talk to you about. So,
Okay.
Just to give everybody a little background about you, what is your full name?
Kendra Michelle Ward.
And what is your register number?
538-03-177.
And what is the mailing address for the facility that you're in?
I'm at Federal Medical Center, Carswell, P.O. Box 27137, Fort Worth, Texas 76127.
And do you have any kids?
Yes, I have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl.
Okay. How old are your children?
My children are my oldest is 15, my middle one is 11, and my baby girl is 8.
Oh, okay. Wow. So bringing yourself back to their age, just to get a little, give everybody a little bit more of an understanding about you. When you were younger, did you have some goals or aspirations, dreams, things that you wanted to accomplish? And if so, what were those things?
My earliest memory of wanting to be something, I wanted to be a nurse or a doctor. I always have been a compassionate person. If I seen a homeless person, I always wanted to help them. I've just always had a soft spot for people in need.
Absolutely. That's great. So, when you're looking back over your life and you're thinking back to that time, to the situations that got you where you are today, where do you feel like things started to go in the wrong direction?
When I was growing up, we were pretty poor, and my parents got on drugs probably when I was around, I think I was in the 4th grade when my father started using. So things just started getting hard, and by the time I was in 7th grade, I was pretty much running around doing anything that I wanted to do, and there was no more structure at all. So I don't know. I just kind of went from being a kid to pretty much an adult real quick.
And during this time, were you experimenting with drugs and alcohol?
Yes, I started experimenting with drugs and alcohol probably around that time when I was around 12. I started really early on hard drugs, I guess. I smoked marijuana first, and then we lived in a pretty poor neighborhood, and then I tried cocaine for the first time when with my best friend's mom. She was a drug addict, so there was always drugs around, and there was not responsible adults. Now that I'm an adult and I look back at it, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's real sad.
I understand that. So when you're looking at the indictment that you're involved in now, what was your part in that, and how did that come about?
Okay, that came about. Okay, I had been clean for methamphetamines for 5 years. When I had my daughter, I got clean. Well, I was also single. I was just being a single mother, taking care of my children, working every day, and taking care of my business. Well, I started talking to an ex-boyfriend of mine, and he was getting out of prison. Well, I guess he started selling drugs as soon as he got out, so he started showering me and my kids with gifts, helping me pay my bills, and then he eventually moved in. And before I knew it, I had relapsed on drugs because it was always in my face. And the house was getting raided. Me and him were fighting. My life started falling apart. In May of 2015, he went to he got incarcerated, and then that's when the feds or the ATF or whatever, they left the drugs and his phone in my car, and they took my car keys and left my car parked at a store. And I did exactly what they thought I was going to do, because I started, his contacts started contacting me, and they offered to front me drugs, and I took them up on that offer because I was already kind of using, and I didn't, in my head, in my logic, I was thinking as long as I'm not taking money out of my pocket, I'm adding money to my pocket. So, I don't know, it just all kind of spun out of control. I tried to quit a few times.
This call is from a federal prison.
I tried to quit a few times, but it was just so hard to get up and go to work or do anything without having the meth that I just kept going. And then eventually in October, I got incarcerated for undercover sting operation because I had got introduced by a friend of mine to an undercover officer, and I was selling meth to him for 3 months.
So
that's how I'm here.
How long were you involved in the conspiracy?
I was involved in the conspiracy for 5 months, I believe, from May to October 2015.
And the sales that were to the undercover, how much was that?
It was about 5.5 ounces of meth.
And when you got indicted, was there a discussion about how much time that you were facing?
Well, whenever I got indicted, first my attorney, he told me that I should cooperate and that the feds would probably give me about 5 years as long as I cooperated. So I cooperated, and then when the PSR came back, it came back 25 to 30 years, and so I was panicking and crying and everything. And then he told me that hopefully he could give me about 8 years. So whenever I walked into the courtroom and got 18 years and 4 months, I was in shock. I was in shock for like the first 2 years. I barely wrapped my head around it.
Who was your sentencing judge?
Judge McBride out of the Northern District.
Had you heard of him prior to sentencing?
I never heard of him. Well, whenever I was first picked up on my criminal complaint, there was a woman in the holding area that had, she just had got sentenced by him, and he gave her 40 years. So, and then I didn't really realize that he was my judge until later, and then I seen her again, and she was on her way to prison, and she was like, yeah, you got Judge McBride, prepare yourself for at least 15 years. And I just couldn't, in my head, I was like, she must have been a really bad drug dealer or something. I still thought if somebody would get that much time, there was there was more to it. Like, maybe they murdered somebody or they molested some children. I just couldn't believe that people would get that much time for selling drugs.
Right. During the court process, did you feel like the amount of drugs that they said that you were involved with, or the amount of drugs that was in your conspiracy, did you feel like that was accurate?
No, not really. They said I had. Well, they said at first I had 3.5 kilos, but since I cooperated, they took a kilo off of me. But the thing is, I've never even seen a kilo. So, I mean, I dealt in ounce quantities, and so I don't even know where all of it came from, honestly.
So
I mean, I could.
Go ahead.
I could get up to like one kilo if I added up everything that I did, that I admitted to, but I just still couldn't come up with that much amount.
So does that come from other individuals saying that you were involved in that, or where does that number?
Everything that everyone says, they add it all up, and then they charge you with it, and then they give you additional enhancements. I got 3 additional enhancements. I got an enhancement for importation, for bringing drugs in from Mexico, and I never left Wichita Falls to get my drugs. I got a gun enhancement that, they said, the gun that they never even got off of me. And then I got a maintaining a household for like a stash house. And that was just my home that I lived in with my children. But since I had my drugs there, they called it a stash house. So those 3 points alone put you about 5 years apiece on the sentencing table.
Wow. So take us back to sentencing. What was that like? What were you expecting? And just kind of walk us through until the point where you were actually sentenced.
Okay, sentencing was surreal. I got there. My attorney was my state attorney that got sworn in from where I'm from. It's Wichita Falls. I got sentenced in Fort Worth, Texas. So I don't think my attorney was a very good state attorney. I don't think he was prepared for a federal case in that courtroom.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, he was kind of taking notes while we were in there. All the judges were not the judges. All the other attorneys were nervous. Everybody was. Judge McBride was getting on to everybody, even the prosecution. He was getting on to them. It was just you can feel the nervousness and the anxiousness in the air.
Okay. So what happened?
Well, this one person, I was there with 2 of my other co-defendants, and everybody kind of just went and they got sentenced together, and all 3 of us had cooperated. So the one of the officers, the arresting officers, a federal officer, he got on stand for all 3 of us, and
This call is from a federal prison.
He got on stand and said that we admitted to everything that we did and how we assisted them, and how they think that we should get some time off of our sentence. And I thought it was, at that time I thought it was looking okay. But then whenever we got sentenced, like whenever he pulled us up there and I gave my little speech, and then he said I was greatly rewarded, that he was going to give me 220 months, and I was greatly rewarded for getting that because my true offense conduct showed that I should get 30 years.
Wow.
So basically, I just needed to be happy with my 18 years and 4 months. And everybody was just crying in the courtroom. One of my co-defendants got sentenced before me, and he got 20 years. His family was crying, my family was crying, and my co-defendant after me, his family was crying. It was just it was a really sad day, and I don't know, it was horrible. I couldn't stop crying. The whole time all day long I had tears coming down my face that I couldn't stop, like, even if I tried. I got back to my cell and I took my kids' pictures down and I just went to sleep, and I stayed, like, the first 2 years I was in, like, a grieving process. It was the hardest. It was like I felt dead, but I was still alive.
And your understanding was that as long as you cooperated, that you were going to get a 5-year sentence.
Yes, I would have never imagined getting the sentence that I got.
So what has it been like since then, as far as visitation with your family, your children, communication? What has that been like?
Thank God I have my family. I have a good family. My kids, they knew that I was a good mother first and foremost, you know. So I keep in contact with my kids, like, especially right now. I'm calling them like every day. I do video visits. When I was in Alabama, I did video visits. They brought my children over there to Alabama to see me once. I just try to stay in contact with my family and my children as much as I can. My children did suffer a lot, and they're still suffering. They just don't understand why it's taken Mom so long to get home. I called my daughter earlier, and she's been kind of sad because she's having to stay inside for the coronavirus. And I was like, how can Mommy make you happy? And she said, I just want you to come home. And her grandma says she holds my pictures and just talks to me. And it's just, they just don't understand. They just want a mom.
Yeah.
And they don't understand at all why their mom is gone for so long.
And what have you been up to since you've been incarcerated, as far as rehabilitation or?
I take ACE classes. Right now, I work in the physical therapy department as a rehab assistant, and I'm also in school for an apprenticeship for physical therapy aid. I'm trying to better myself in any way that I can. I exercise every day. You know, I read my Bible. I try to change my thinking. I'm just trying to change who I am so that I'll be ready whenever I get out.
The coronavirus has limited the amount of phone calls that they're able to make because of the time they're limited out of their cells. I just want to thank everybody again for getting involved. Kendra's situation is like many others, and she has children that are waiting on her, and she has rehabilitated, has changed her life, working to be a better person. We just pray that you guys would all continue to share the videos, to sign the petition in the description of the video, and to just be the light in the words to the people who are not allowed or not able to speak for themselves. Thank you all, and God bless.